Okay. Yeah. Vivian, please. Yes, please.
Vivian Nirheim from Bloomberg News. My question is for Mr. Jubeir. The Wall Street Journal reported this weekend that Saudi Arabia is reevaluating its U.S. investments. Is this true? And you recently spent an extended visit in the United States. What was the purpose of that visit, and did you make any progress in rolling back Jasta?
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has tremendously large investments in the United States, and we review those investments on a regular basis. There are issues that are associated with risk, but our objective is to increase those investments, not to decrease them. There was the issue of the IPO for Aramco that we're looking at talking or in touch with markets, whether it's in Hong Kong, in London, as well as in New York. And I believe that in order to make a decision on where the best market would be to launch the IPO, to do the IPO of Aramco, or if it should be more than one market. So that's still a work in progress. With regards to the my time in the United States, it was to touch base with people, to get to know the policies or the positions of the new administration, to deal with the Congress and try to persuade them that there needs to be an amendment of the law that was passed, which is Jasta. We believe that the law which curtails sovereign immunities represents a grave danger to the international system. The issue of sovereign immunities has been a principle that has governed international relations since the Treaty of Westphalia in the 1600s. No country will suffer most by the erosion of this principle than the United States of America. I will give you an example. When you launch drone attacks, that is a discretionary function of government, and that does not allow courts in other countries to sit in judgment of that decision. When a country allows the use of its territory to go to war by another country, that is a discretionary function of government, and it cannot be judged by other courts. When countries provide support to, let's say, the moderate Syrian opposition, that is a discretionary function of government. Courts in one country cannot sit in judgment of those decisions. And so when I mentioned all of these areas, the country that has the biggest footprint in the world is the United States. And the United States is, by eroding this principle, opening the door for other countries to take similar steps, and then before you know it, international order becomes governed by the law of the jungle. Imagine if people can sue in Pakistan, in Yemen, in Iraq, in Turkey, in Europe, if people can sue in South America, if people can sue for all sorts of reasons against policies that were taken by governments and officials that were taken in their discretionary function as government officials or as governments, we will have no international system. And so that's why we believe it's important to amend this law. That's why we believe President Obama vetoed this law. That's why we believe the leadership in the Congress has come out and said this has to change because it is a threat to the United States first and foremost. That's why you have the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, the CIA Director, the Director of National Intelligence, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, all publicly saying this law is a danger to the US and American interests and must be changed. That's why you have former national security advisors and former military leaders taking the same position, and you have leaders in the Congress who feel the same way. So the question now becomes, how do you go about amending the law so that it does not undercut the international relations and the international order? We have had, I believe there are more than 90 countries in the world that have taken public positions against this law and urged that it be amended because of the danger it represents. You have the GCC, you have the Arab League, you have the Organization of Islamic Countries, 57 nations, you have the European Union, all of its members have publicly taken the position against this. You have China, you have Russia, you have other countries. So it's very clear that this is something that was not thought through, the unintended consequences were not thought through. The dangers it presents to the erosion of international relations and international law have not been thought through. And frankly, the fact that the country that will bear the highest price of any erosion of sovereign immunities is the United States. And I think, I don't want to speak for the United States when the Secretary of State is sitting next to me, but this is really the consensus view of everyone.
Yeah, you didn't ask me, and I have we have to leave, but I just make a really quick statement. The Obama administration has great concern about the victims, and we will continue to find ways to help the victims of 9/11. But we are convinced that Jasta, as it was written, is a bad law. We were opposed to it. We remain concerned about its impact because we think there were ways to meet the needs of the victims without having a harmful effect on the long-established law and concept of sovereign immunity. So we are very concerned about it. We tried very hard to move on changing it, and we will continue to do that. Thank you.
شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا. آسفين بس لكن تأخرنا على موعد ثاني فشكرا جزيلا.